My clients are nonprofits who, and the people who edit the website are staff members who may be responsible for programs and so forth, and handling things getting published, but definitely aren't publishers, aren't IT people, and aren't designers. So getting Drupal to a point where everything was straightforward and right in front of you, and trying to avoid those, oh my gosh, I'm confused by this on my screen, what do I do now type moments, has been pretty critical for me to be able to use Drupal effectively with my clients. So what you're looking at here is actually a starter site that I've built. And these are just these content types that I've built out that are generally used. Anyway, but the point of this demo is to show you how I have set it up so that editors can edit the site very easily. So let's go ahead and hit login. Okay, so now that we've logged in, we're taken to the content page. This is a list view, which actually isn't the default content list that comes with Drupal. This is actually a views plugin for bulk operations rather. So this gives me more flexibility in what I'm able to show as column titles. You can see here I've got the weight. So if I want to, I want to be able to give people the ability to sort, but applying weight and then refreshing the home page or whatever page it is that the node appears on the list is pretty tedious and a bit of a hack. So here you can actually see the weight in the list view, which is very, very useful, especially when you filter it by homepage feature slide, for example. You can see this. Optimally, I'd be able to also sort by this column. But this also prevents me from having to give permissions that I don't want to give to the editor. And that's real nice. So also, you may have seen as I logged in, there's this thing called the editor menu. That is a custom created menu. And we'll go through each one of these. So content is the content page. If I set up a site for maybe there are comments on news items, I would add a drop down here so that you could access that. Or if there was need for moderation using the moderation module, that would also go down in here. Create content is where all the content node types show up. I have the standard page content type. I've also added CCK fields to that to make some things easier. But the key here is that this is just a normal page content type, and all the rest of these are special content types, which are added in based upon client need. Now I call them special content types just to differentiate them from just the page content type. It kind of helps stratifying it that way so that the client understands its relative importance, and it's just a lot easier. It's kind of difficult, especially with the terminology content type. Some people say node type, but then when a content type is instantiated, it becomes a node. So that sort of terminology is really, really important, and so I try to avoid that at all costs. Reports. So these are a list of all kind of like the standard Drupal statistic pages here. Also, if I were to install Google Analytics, I would put a menu item here that would just link to the Google Analytics login screen. Configuration, the site management page and the user management page. Documentation is just one page with all sorts of documentation on how to operate the FCK WYSIWYG editor and what is a page content type and what are the special content types, and of course logout. So the reason why I've done this black global navigation, and it does appear on any page that I go to, is so that it does not, I don't want it to show up in the left or right sidebar because it interferes with the layout of the page. It's not clear that this is something that's not a part of the site. clients get confused. Can other people see this? Is one of their first questions. And so this is a very good way to distinguish that. There is, of course, a module called, I think it's called administration menu, that does this same sort of thing as the black strip across the top. And you might be inclined to think that this is that, but I'm actually using, I think it's simple menu, right? Because I have complete control. And in fact, if I go to menu, we'll have to log out and log in as an editor, or admin rather. So let me log out. And I'll show you how I set up the menus kind of that are standard on all my websites to make sure that things are a lot easier. And here you're seeing this little thing. This is the Cobalt project, which is really great because it will it integrates in with Quicksilver. Sorry. And uses Google Gears to do that integration so that I can just, like using Spotlight, I can hit a keystroke and then start typing where I want to go and hit this, and there I am. So you see my menus. I have an administration menu. This is actually what I do. This only shows up for admins in the footer. So if I forget the command for Cobalt, and I'm not suggesting this bit for Drupal 7 usability, but for me this works really well. So if I forget the command for having to get to a certain configuration page, I always have the standard admin menu down here. And then here's the editor menu that I spoke about, and of course you can come in here and this is all really standard stuff. And then I have a footer menu, and then the primary navigation and secondary navigation. I think Drupal by default calls you something different. I don't recall. I don't recall, so you have to verify that. Yeah, that's that. What else did I want to show? What else I want to show you? An aggravation that I had while learning Drupal was trying to understand what configuration screens were available when I installed a module. And if I'm working with a new module, I still to this day will wonder that same thing. And of course, I can go and dig through the README files, and if someone's documented it very well, they'll take me right through it. But you can't really rely on that all the time. So there's this great little module named Module Info, and what it does is just this. Within the modules page, it links to any module-specific data to the admin build modules page, telling the user about what pages, blocks, and content types are created by a module, which is really, really great. And since I don't administer my pages or my sites with user 1, if I click on one of these configuration pages and I need permissions, it will tell me access denied, so I'm immediately prompted to go over to the permissions page and take care of that. So here's a CCK blocks. So it's got all these links. That's probably not a great example. Let's go look at something a little bit more simple. But the fact is, like when I know that there isn't a module info field set, I know that this is a very, very simple module and that it's pretty much ready to go out of the box. So if we go to database logging, I can come here and go to the configuration page. So let's click on that, and I usually do a tab and open up all of these. And so here we go. I can then immediately configure my database logging. I know what the recent log entries looks like. Okay, page not found errors. Okay, I get a quick glimpse at what this module does, and I'm able to configure it within a moment. Again, if I needed special permissions to do this, I would have been given an access denied and would have been able to then, I got to go over to the permissions page and then set up my permissions, not only for me as an admin, but also for the editor. And that's really, really important. I know that in projects past, I've gotten emails after the launch, like, oh, how do I do this? I don't have access to that. And it's because I didn't have a good workflow for setting up permissions for editors. And that's basically it.